Great Scott. Great Scott. Great Scott.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another fabulous episode of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V. Thanks for watching. So this week at Comic-Con we had our drop of the new Justice League footage. I guess it was a pretty cool trailer. I did find it difficult to listen to. The music was great. You had the Come Together theme, and then you had the variation on the Man of Steel theme that kind of turned into maybe a pseudo-new Justice League theme, which is really cool for Superman fans because that indicates that Superman is a very important presence. And we had Zack Snyder tell us, I guess about a year ago, that Superman will be a huge presence in this movie. He won't be in it for more than about a third, is what we were told, but that his presence will be hugely felt, that his inspiration will be hugely felt, and that it will be very meaningful, his appearance in the movie and his presence in the movie. So the fact that they have the Man of Steel music sort of melding into a Justice League type of a theme is very, very cool. Steppenwolf, lots of footage of him attacking, destroying things, jumping down, explosions. Apparently a lot of action in the movie, but at least via my ears, I listened on 2 different televisions. I did not use headphones, though. If you're watching a movie trailer or a movie, a lot of times you're not going to be wearing headphones, nor should you need to. I was told that you can really understand it and that it sounds really great if you're wearing headphones. I did not try that, but on the 2 TVs that I did watch the trailer on, I thought it was very difficult to understand what Steppenwolf was saying. I have since read some written versions of the text in the trailer, and it's a little easier to understand once you read that, but I feel like maybe the mixing was a little off because you should be able to understand it when you're watching the trailer. You want to entice people who don't know about this movie or who might be interested in an action-laden movie with lots of heroes in it and a cool villain, whom Steppenwolf may very well be, but when he's going, you can, no one survive, no Kryptonians, no lanterns, and I didn't even understand lanterns the first time. I understood Kryptonians, and at the time that he said Kryptonians, we saw a strange sweeping motion of the camera revealing Bruce Wayne, Ben Affleck, looking at what appeared to be a hologram of a Kryptonian. The word Kryptonians not being lost on my ears at that point, as I'm certain that they purposely put that there at that moment because that was whom he was looking at. We do not see a vision of Superman proper in this trailer. In other words, he's not there in all his glory, ready to battle, that we can see full on the camera. But it does appear that at least 2 characters are possibly looking at a Kryptonian. Bruce Wayne, in the camera sweep that I was talking about, appears to be envisioning some sort of a hologram, maybe looking at data from a lot of what he took from Lex or from what he found in the ship after Superman's death. We don't know. We haven't seen the movie yet. But he's certainly looking at someone not directly in front of him. The person appears to be a little bit higher and a little bit smaller in scale than Bruce himself is, which has led many to believe that this is some sort of a hologram or some amount of data that he is looking at, a picture, maybe a still form, or possibly speaking, communicating with someone in the past or at another time, or via a computer system a la Jor-El in Man of Steel. To many, this appears to be a girl form, and I'll tell you why. When the camera sweeps aside, you see what appears to be a red cape. Now, Superman's cape goes all the way to the back of his heels, and you can't see the back of his legs nor his boots from behind him when the cape comes down. And when you see him from the front, the cape is all the way down behind his entire body. So you see his legs, but they are completely covered in the back by the cape. This cape was shorter, sweeping to the left side of the screen when you watch. And when it sweeps aside, you see the tops of boots and bare legs covered in probably a pantyhose or a whatever the Kryptonian equivalent of that is. And some have said what appears to be a tattoo on the leg. I think this is just a shadow of the hologram, or some have explained that it's actually a technical thing that happens with holograms, a type of sheen that you use when you're programming them. I am not a technical guy in terms of data and computers. I don't know about all that stuff, but that's a possibility as well. But the legs, to my eye, are definitely not covered in blue armor-like panting. So I thought, that looks like Supergirl. Doesn't mean she's in the movie. Doesn't mean she's going to be a character presence, but it could mean that she was present at some point on that ship on Krypton, or was included in the data that was given by Jor-El. That's all it has to mean, but it could mean that we are communicating with a living Supergirl or other character with girl legs and a cape. People have argued that it's definitely a blue-clad leg and it's definitely Superman. This could be because they assume it has to be Superman, or because they assume they would never put Supergirl in the Justice League. It's already overfilled with too many characters. To my eye, it looks like Supergirl. Now, the person at the end, whom Alfred says, he said you would come. I just hope you're not too late. He kind of has a gravelly voice too, and you can't understand much of what Batman says in the movie, though you can understand that he says Superman didn't just save people, he helped them to see the best versions of themselves. I have heard many fans say that's not the Superman we saw in the movie. We've been very disappointed with the way Superman's been portrayed, and we've been very disappointed with the way he's kind of been hated and distrusted, and that's been the standard set by Man of Steel and by Batman v Superman, and we didn't really get to see the inspirational figure because Lex sowed the seeds of mistrust, and they were already there in Man of Steel. Jonathan himself was afraid he would be mistrusted, and his prophecy came true in Batman v Superman, and we didn't really get to see a lot of people trusting him, loving him, cheering for him, though I would say that it was evident in Batman v Superman that some portion of the population really hated and distrusted him, and another portion of the population really loved him, and then other people weren't sure where to stand, and then by the end of the movie, it was clear that people felt they had made a mistake, that they had trusted or mistrusted the wrong person, and that Superman sacrificed his life to save them all. If anyone needs a tissue, there is one here for you. You may be sad that Superman was not shown in the trailer, though I do believe that was him at the end, and it is very interesting that Alfred would say, he said you would come, I just hope you're not too late. Who said he would come? Batman? Bruce? How would he know he would come? Batman knows him to be dead, although it is possible that at some point in the movie he does see a vision or a version of Superman who isn't quite himself, or doesn't quite remember, or maybe doesn't have his powers, a la the story in the comics. When he came back, he was depowered, and he sort of had a version of amnesia and didn't exactly know who he was or what had happened, and it took a little while, but he came back to full strength, and maybe at the most dire moments, Bruce said, he'll come, I saw him, I know he'll come, he'll be here, or something along those lines, or maybe somebody else said it, but I do believe we see a red cape on the left shoulder. Is that left? Yes. On the left shoulder of the person we don't see that Alfred is talking to. That person, height-wise, where Alfred's eyes are and where the cape seems to be Superman, while as the other person, unless it's a strange vision of a hologram, appears to be a female. Those are my takes on it. I like the action. I like Aquaman. A lot of people complaining that it's terrible casting or that it doesn't seem like Aquaman. He's a glorified surfer dude. Well, Aquaman is a water person, so he may have that type of an attitude, but I also think he looks awesome. He acts in a great way. I love Jason Momoa in the role. I think Aquaman's going to be a cool, standout, comedic, but also very powerful presence in the movie. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and remember, always look up in the sky.